Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine wanted to be in.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady. But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time. Another week. N4J Radio. This is episode 683 for January 17th, 2022. On the show this week we have Anthony.
683 is a lot of mediocrity.
It is. I was sitting around thinking about it last night, like, would we make it to 1,000? I was like, how long would it take to make it to
fucking
1,000?
don't.
Ooh.
And that is what? That's 300 and now 16 episodes. I mean, we didn't think we'd make it to 100, so there is that.
True story.
Also on the show, we got the Wombat too.
Yepers.
Oh, man. The only two people that were on the original.
Yes.
Damn.
It's true. The only two people who have hosted the show in terms of having it done at their place.
This is true. This is true. One time in a garage. That was a weird one.
Yeah, I was not present for that one.
No.
That was just you and Gambus.
Yeah, just like hanging around a garage. That was weird. Sounded like shit, too, because of the echo.
I believe it.
I mean, it sounds like shit on this very podcast, so...
Well, I mean, this sounds a hell of a lot better than it did.
Yeah. You have not heard the shit that it used to sound like, Anthony.
I
Just
picture... Sup.
Well, no, the best was the when we first started, and I know we've told the story 100 times, but when we first started, us sitting around a table and me continually forgetting somehow that we were recording and banging on the table.
Yeah.
And so just every couple minutes, it's like, because I was tapping on the table or doing something that the microphone was sitting on. Us all huddled around a coffee table with a microphone on it.
And not a good microphone. It was like one of those $12 from Walmart specials.
Yep. And Killer Wolverine was sitting halfway across the room, so it sounded like he was yelling from China.
China. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's...
Yeah, be blessed that you get the quality that you hear today. Because it could be so much, and has been so much worse.
Absolutely, 100%. Oh, but video games, they're a thing. Maybe we played them, maybe we didn't. It's always a roll of the dice every week. So I'll start with Anthony.
I'm homesick, so... I was like, fuck it. The first little while, I was like too sick to really focus on anything, so I started at Machinarium again, which is like an Amanita game, and like playing that, and reviewing Happy Game last year. It's like, yeah, that game, Machinarium was like way more of a point-and-click puzzle game, and Happy Game wasn't. It just kind of disappointing how like in-depth Machinarium is. In comparison, because that's over a decade old at this point. But it still holds up. It's still got amazing artwork. I have Dead Cells on my Switch. I bought it because it was like the whole thing on sale.
I saw your coming to Jesus.
My first,
moment.
yeah, my first run was like pretty good until I got to the boss who like killed me because my equipment wasn't strong enough. But like I had a freeze ability in like my very first run, which kind of ruined every combat scenario. And then I got to the bridge, and that was not going to work the same way as it did on every other character. I like it. I don't think like it set the world on fire, and I'm like, it's a very good game. I understand talking about it positively. Like, I have no complaints. It's very pretty. I like as much as there's like really no character, the main character has a lot of character somehow still. He doesn't really talk. He just makes gestures like giving the finger and stuff, and it's like very out of place, but kind of funny. And there's subtle nods to other games like Half-Life and stuff. Yeah, it's a very good game. I just don't... In a world of roguelite games and really good Metroidvanias and stuff, which this game really isn't, I don't fully understand why people kept putting that to this game. Like, it's not a Metroidvania at all. Just because it's got multiple paths doesn't mean it's Metroidvania. You don't traverse back over the area you've already gone.
I think it was more the fact that you've got some abilities that let you go different places as you progressed, but you still had to start over instead of going back.
Yeah, so I don't know. It reminds me a lot of Rogue Legacy, which is a compliment.
That's a great game.
Yeah, I mean, Dead Cells is very much that with obviously different ideas in mind, but like I like it. It's a very good game. Again, it's one of those things where it's like I think the hype of it doesn't do that game favors. Like, it's still talked about as like this one of the best games ever, and it's like, to me, it's just another very good roguelike. If you're gonna ask me like what's a better roguelite, I know it's like kind of old by this point, but like Binding of Isaac and the way that that game can change each run just based on what you get, because it's like, once I figured out like stuff I like in Dead Cells, it's always what I take, and I'm going through the same sort of areas visually, but like in a Binding of Isaac run, like getting the laser eye changes how you have to play. So it's just small things like that where it's like, you can really mess yourself up in Binding of Isaac by the items you take as well. So, but it's not, I guess, like, in terms of like world exploring, it's not as in depth as like Dead Cells. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things where it's like, I didn't buy into the hype, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I feel like I would have walked away disappointed. I just don't understand how this game managed to take the world by storm. It's just something I don't fully understand. But I mean, maybe someone can explain that to me.
I think, honestly, personally, myself, I think one of the things that caused that game to kind of click with more people than other games of this genre was just how good it plays. Like,
yeah, I heard that from someone. I don't know. It plays very well. I just wonder if our standards had dropped by that point. Like,
well, when you look at a lot of those games, especially of a genre that we talk about on the show is just kind of oversaturated at this point, a lot of them don't have that like pinpoint platform control that Dead Cells pulls off. And I think that helps a game stand out, even if it doesn't really do anything that's outside the box of the rest of the genre. I think playing really well helps.
Yeah, maybe I just haven't played enough bad ones in the last little while to remind myself of like, oh yeah, because I know that like Rogue Legacy is a little bit more floaty.
Yeah,
but so I played some of that. I started up Chicory. This is most of my stuff this week. Is like I started it up. I just couldn't. It wouldn't click. So I started up Chicory. It's cute. There's definitely something there. I just haven't. It's not the right time for it. I'm right now. I'm looking for something that like will sort of suck me in. So I started up Evil Within. I've had that game probably since the launch, and I know that my dad and I were playing it because there was only one PS4 in the house at the time, and bounced off of it pretty early. And I'm at that point where I'm pretty sure we bounced off, and boy, I just, like, this first game is rough as hell. I know the second one's supposed to be way better.
100% better. It's like that first game.
I'm glad that fucking black bar option is, like, there, because that was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen to make it more cinematic. No. Stop that talk in the fucking video game world. Stop trying to be cinema. You're not. You're a video game.
I think that was patched.
It is. That's what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
you can turn
like-
it off now. I turned it off. I'm like, why would I want part of my vision obscured?
I played through that entire game with
Oh,
that
fuck
shit
that.
on.
I don't like the stealth is not great. Like, there's a lot of stealth. It's not great.
The Evil Within is a concept for the Evil Within 2. Like, I like...
You know, here's combat, you have 3 shots, and there's no traps around, and there's 2 more guys coming up the stairs after the first one.
I
cool.
like that first game. I do like the
I
first
like
game.
the idea of the first game more than I like the actual first game
Yeah.
so far. Like, this is a slog. I made it chapter 3. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm tired of, like, just give me fucking something. Like, this is the same issue I had with Dark, which is a bad game. We're not comparing Dark to Evil Within in terms of quality, because Dark is a terrible fucking video game and has bad AI and you shouldn't play it. But Dark had the issue of, I want to be a stealth game, combat is mandatory. No. Don't, like, either fully engage with your stealth, or get it the fuck out of there. Because, like, I'm like trying to move around, but then it's like, oh, you have to be in combat now. Well, what am I gonna use? You have an axe. As soon as you kill a guy with it, it's gone. Like, fucking, alright. Like, and you have 3 bullets, and you have to set everybody on fire to make sure that they're actually dead. And it's like, I understand that this is, like, survival horror, but kind of the thing that made Resident Evil bearable was that there was actual shit you could pick up. And in this, it's like, I keep picking up brains, but I haven't had an opportunity to go back to upgrade, so I'm just sitting on, like, 8,000 brains, or whatever the fuck they call it. And I'm like, this ain't the time or place. Clearly, because I'm just getting more and more irritated. It might be that I'm stuffed up. I don't know. So I'm like, fuck it. Assassin's Creed's Origins it is.
Nice.
I am thoroughly enjoying that so far. That's the game I was looking for, I guess. Like, they fully leaned into the stealth. Combat is necessary, but also, like, optional to some extent. Love the world so far. Like, I'm not very far in it. I'm maybe, like, 3 or 4 hours of just fucking wandering. Because it's fucking beautiful. I like the main character so far. I barely know him, and I'm like already like, I like him. He's good.
Bayek
he's-
is
Bayek.
a great protagonist.
I like the
one
friend
of my favorites
that you
yeah.
help early on when you go to his house and the soldiers show up. The bird. Oh fuck! It's just it's fucking great, and like it's the thing is like. And this is more of a criticism about how everything shows like Middle East. Everything in the Middle East is always desert, dry, nothing, right? And I know technically Egypt's part of Africa, blah, 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 but like that usually gets lumped into there of it's just desert, but no, it's like there's gardens. It's lush, it's green, and there's spots where it is, but it's like the water and the caves and the. Just it's so fucking awesome to be exploring, and like the combat feels amazing, and yeah, I'm just really enjoying it. Obviously, Ryan, you've suggested playing that before. Odyssey, I have Odyssey on my Xbox. But my dad had Origins, so I took Origins from him and started
I'm really
half of the
curious.
DLC.
I'm really curious to hear if so. You're enjoying the combat in Origins.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear whether or not you like the combat in Odyssey better or worse.
So I have
It's
started up
completely
Odyssey.
different. Okay.
I have started up Odyssey previously, and then actually stopped. It was like around the time that I actually moved to where I am now. So it was between. I was like, think that was my break game from Days Gone, which was a terrible idea. Both of them just huge ass games. But yeah, I don't remember the combat too much in Odyssey. It was still fairly early on. Like I hadn't left like the main island.
It's a lot faster and less deliberate. And like there's a lot of focus on the shield in Origins that doesn't really happen in Odyssey.
Okay. Well,
So
most
yeah,
of my
I'm
time
just
is spent with the
curious.
bow, anyways.
Yeah.
And dodging, so I don't shield as much. I dodge more. Obviously, I'm sure I'll have to start parrying at some point, but like it's fine if it's not continued. Like that's the thing. Like with the Assassin's Creed series, I at this point I kind of hold them to no standard other than make a good fucking game. So it's like as long as it feels good to play, I won't mind the change. I
Right.
do like the getting into a fight. Like I was sneaking, shot a guy in the head, it didn't drop him. I should have known better not to drop it. I thought I could get another shot off before he alerted everybody, but that was not the case. And so I went in and just murdered everybody in the compound. One by one, and it was like, yeah, this is very satisfying. I did a mission where I had to sneak a farmer's body out of the compound of one of the giant temple or whatever on the hill. It's early on, and
Yeah.
I was like, "This is great! Like this is what I wanted Assassin's Creed to be, kind of at the beginning." And so like having this, like clearly like, oh, you can, or you should be doing this stealthy, but like if you have to get into combat, that's a full system that's there for you. I'm like, that's perfect. That's always what I want. Unless you're like really into like the stealth aspect, but like for Assassin's Creed, this is what I wanted. Like be able to handle myself, but for the most part, try to be quiet and not kill too many people. And I love the fact that like I can choose to have my hood on or off. And I got some extra equipment that's not like game breaking, which is nice because usually that's what happens when you have like all the DLC. They give you some item and it just makes the whole beginning segment too easy. And it's like, no, this is still low level equipment. It's just somewhat nicer than what you start off with. And I'm not even wearing the armor that they give me. Although, does the armor actually do anything?
I don't remember in Origins.
I think
if
it's
it does
just.
or
I think it's
not.
just like the outfit is visual, and then there's the
Yeah,
bracers
I
and
think
stuff,
you're
right?
right. I didn't think they added abilities to the armor until Odyssey.
I think you're
Okay.
right. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So like I'm still only wearing like this robe that I bought that's red that matches like the shield that I got with the DLC. But yeah, like it's so fucking awesome, and like I'm just enjoying like exploring, like because it's like, oh, I'm walking over here and there's missions, and they're not like, I'm sure eventually they start feeling very similar, but it's like right now it's like, oh, this is a very different mission, at least in structure. Obviously, everything turns into go there, kill a man, but like, or get a thing. But like, I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, oh, I'm going in to kill the bandits that are hiding at the source of the water for the village. Like, that's awesome. That's a neat concept. And then you go in and it looks totally different from everything else you've done so far. Obviously, the first segment where you're going through like the giant tomb is like, fuck. I'm just enjoying this. Like, I shouldn't have sat on it for this long, but yeah, I need something to like lose myself in, because obviously being stuck in the house for the last couple of days has been driving me up the fucking wall. So I started that up yesterday and was like, oh yeah, this is the shit. That's it for me. Origins is what I'm enjoying the most.
Excellent. It's good to see you into the new trilogy. We'll move on to the Wombat.
All right. So I picked up a Switch OLED this week. because I had a lot of gift cards, and so basically I got it for $100. And man, that screen is very pretty.
It is.
Very, very pretty.
It makes games look better than they should.
It does, absolutely. And so on that, I did play a little bit of Breath of the Wild just because I wanted to see what it looked like. And it looks very, very pretty.
Yeah, the grass looks really good.
Especially since the last time I played it, it was a Wii U on a 1080p TV. So the OLED screen makes it look very pretty. The big thing I played on that this week was Metroid Dread. I played a lot more of that, and making my way through it. That game also looks very pretty on the OLED screen. A lot of the colors really pop on that screen, which is cool because Dread's got some neat use of color in it. There are parts of that game that are very difficult, but it's the thing I appreciate about it is that I haven't gotten lost once. So that's a big win for me as it relates to Metroid games. So yeah, making my way through that. And then outside of that, I've been playing some more Hitman 3 to try and polish that off. I mentioned last week I haven't quite finished it yet, so I'm working on that. I did, though. I had to after Jay was talking about it on the podcast last week. I went back and replayed that mansion mission just because it's so good. And I will re-echo, because when I played it last time, it was closer to the beginning of the year last year. So it was good to get a refresher on that level after he was speaking so highly of it. And it's really, really excellent. So if you have it, I recommend at least playing that level. It's level 2, by the way, for everybody, just for everybody's information. But yeah, that's it. I watched the Bengals I watched the Bengals fortunately beat Ken's Raiders yesterday. Unfortunate for Ken.
How many playoff games can we have a controversial referee take and you wonder why it's always the Raiders versus the refs? Am I right?
I know. Listen, there were a couple goofed up calls in that game. The one was I agree, the whistle one was pretty big, but there was that goofy spot where they gave the Raiders the timeout and then basically were just like, nah, the roughing the passer stuff, it's fine.
Yeah,
it didn't happen.
Yeah, it's such a weird game, and I'm not one of those people that's like, well, if they hadn't done that, we'd have won. And no, we were sloppy. You know, at least that was a good game though, because I turned off the second game.
It was a fun game to watch. I don't even watch football, and I enjoyed that game.
Yeah, the Raiders this year, every game they play, it comes down to I'm gonna lose my mind in the last 2 minutes of the game because it's so freaking close. And just ridiculous things are going to happen. So, you know, I'm happy for the Bengals. It's been 31 years since they won a playoff game. So
yeah, and now my favorite team has the longest playoff drought in the NFL. So the Bengals are my second favorite team, and my first and second favorite team had the 2 longest playoff droughts in the history of the NFL. So if you wonder why I don't watch football, now you know.
Hey, if there was any team in the postseason that I would have wanted to lose to, because I didn't want to lose, I'm happy it was them.
Right.
I will root for them to go as far as they can, because there are still plenty of teams in the playoffs in that division that I hate. So I'll be. Well,
at least the Patriots lost yesterday.
They did, and I turned that game off because it wasn't even a game.
Yeah.
That thing was ugly. So yeah. I'm hoping the games today are better.
We'll see. Again, I don't. Other than the Bengals, I don't have a rooting interest because I don't watch the game mostly. But I know a lot of people around here who are desperate for the Steelers to lose today. So,
see, I'm in the opposite camp. I am desperate
because you hate the Chiefs.
I despise the Chiefs. So
right.
But I don't think they're going to win. I don't think the Steelers are going to win. But I sure am hoping.
We'll see. We'll see what Benjamin Roethlisberger can pull out for his last.
Your classmate Benjamin Roethlisberger.
My classmate Ben Roethlisberger. Yeah. Although he was actually, I think either a year ahead or behind me. I can't remember. But yeah, my classmate.
How does it feel that your classmate is now retiring?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I got to be honest with you. But it also didn't feel good when Wally Zerbiak retired a couple years ago because he was also my classmate. So
Yeah, it's just God.
actually, he may have graduated right before I got there. So maybe he wasn't technically a classmate.
Still though,
yeah.
it's like, how old are we? We're too old.
You're too old. Yeah, too old.
All right.
But we were talking about Joe Burrow yesterday and came to the realization that Joe Burrow is closer in age to my son than he is to me.
Yeah. He's what, 25?
Yep.
25 years old.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know. I was watching Chucky, the TV series Chucky, and like the three main stars are kids. They were all born within like 5 years of my son.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yeah, that'll get you.
Oh my God.
That'll get you every time.
Whew. Anyway. So what else did I play? I checked out the Pedestrian. That's a game that came out a while back, I think on PlayStation and PC. And it just came to Xbox, and it came into Xbox Game Pass, which is why I checked it out. And it's a cool game. So it's that game where you're like,
You're the person from the signs.
yeah, the signs, like the street signs, and you're solving these puzzles, which are basically, man, how do I even describe this? They're like these almost like monochrome screens, and you have to figure out how to connect between
They're the
them.
metal signs, everybody.
Yeah,
That's what, like, the whole backdrop is that you're on the signs.
Yeah, exactly. But like in the game, they're represented as like 4 different, blocks on the screen, and you have to figure out how to get from one end of them to the other by moving them around, connecting them via doors, moving things to climb up. It's just like, it's really just a logic puzzle from screen to screen, and it's literally just, here's a screen, solve this one, walk to the next one, here's another screen, solve this one, kind of puzzle game. And it's very good. Like, the puzzles are challenging, and I like the little wrinkles they throw in as you continue to go through it, the different ways that you can solve the puzzles. So it's a cool game. If you like those kind of games, it's on Game Pass. Go check it out. I also on Game Pass was Ember, EMBR, which is like a I think it was a VR game, and it's like a first.
My son's been playing that.
Yeah, it's like a first-person firefighter style game, but it's very cartoony and goofy. Without VR, I think it just kind of controls poorly. Like, it's way too fast, and it's like not accurate at all. It just doesn't feel right. So I didn't play that one very long. I think I played through the tutorial in the first level, and I was like, I don't really care for this. I booted up Breakneck City, which is a beat-em-up game from East Asia Soft, and I don't understand the appeal of that game because visually it's just not good. And then like the controls of the beat-em-up, so it's like a Double Dragon beat-em-up where you can move up, down, left, right on the screen, but it's like the combat just feels bad. Like, I don't know. It just...
Sorry, what game is this?
Breakneck City.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember seeing this and going, eh.
I mean, like, the artwork for the box art makes you think, like, oh, this is cool. It's got that 80s neon vibe, but then, like, you see the in-game graphics, and it looks like some PS1 shit, and you're just
so that I might even have the developers' other games. Yeah, I do. That dev does a Renegade Sector. All their games kind of look like this, but this is the only one that's a beat 'em up.
I mean, I'd be
all
okay
their
with
other stuff is like they have like a first-person shooter that's kind of like Metroid Prime-ish.
Mm-hmm.
So like all their games have this low sort of poly, bright colors look. Yeah, this is the only one that's a beat 'em up, and it's kind of like a weird standout.
I'd be okay with it being the look of it if it didn't play like shit. Like, I just feel like the beat 'em up portion of that game is not, like, the hit detection doesn't feel good. Like when you start a combo, it doesn't, like the hits don't feel good. This game just don't feel good. So I was like, yeah, I don't want to play this. Last week when Drew was talking about Trophy and how he went to the password screen and got a bunch of achievements, I was like, I'm going to check and see if that's been fixed. So he is correct. So I ended up looking up a thing online. You can get like all 1,000 achievements in that game with about 3 minutes of gameplay. And you can go into the password screen and put in 3 different passwords, and it will give you the achievement.
Wow.
And then the only ones you actually have to earn are collecting 4 and 5 lives and dying. Like, that's the only way you actually have to play the game to get 1,000 achievements. And I was just like, okay. Okay. This game. Whew. Trophy, man. That game is something else. Since a Cyberpunk ghost story is a
Boobs.
dude, that game is horny as balls.
I remember when it was coming out, it's like, that's a lot of tit.
There's a lot. Like, it's a 2D, like left to right side scrolling point and click adventure game that is just so horny. Like, whoever made this game, that person needs to like meet somebody because they are very horny. The next game I checked out, I was actually kind of excited. It's called, how do you say this? Demoniaca Everlasting Night?
I think that was also East Asia Soft.
Yeah, that's also East Asia Soft. It is a Metroidvania style game, and I was excited to play it. I thought,
I'm gonna say, oh yeah, no, it isn't. Yeah,
how do you say that?
Demoniaca.
Is her name like beyond like?
Well, I'm assuming it's.
The pronunciation podcast. How do you say this?
Yeah, fucking man. I don't fucking.
Demoniaca.
Demoniaca. There, done. You can search that. That's the thing.
Demoniaca. Everlasting Night. So I was excited because it looked like it's a Metroidvania. But holy shit, just like Breakneck City, like this game feels bad. So it's a Metroidvania. Do you know what button is jump?
I swear to God, if you press up.
The right trigger.
What?
Yep.
That's even worse than up.
Yep. The right trigger is jump. Fuck with these games, dude. No, the control just feels bad. The combo system is so laggy. Like, I can press 3 buttons and then the combo will finish in about 3 seconds later. It's just, oh my god, it's so bad. It turned me off of playing that game, period. Super Sammy Roll is basically a indie budget Captain Toad. So
that doesn't sound like a bad thing.
It's not. I actually enjoyed what I played of it. It's like you're playing this little dinosaur. You're on these 3D platforms. You rotate them around, collect items, make it to the goal.
It reminds me visually of Woodle Tree Adventures.
Oh yeah, I played both of those. There's 2 of those, right?
Yeah, the second one's way better.
Yeah, much better.
Yeah. Yeah, it's cute.
It's fine. I liked it.
If anybody wants a good Metroidvania that's like indie, I wouldn't recommend it for the story because it's kind of ham-fisted, but Time Spinner plays really well.
Time Spinner is great. The thing about Time Spinner is I think I got about halfway through it, and it got really dumb, and I got turned off by it.
Yeah, just don't go in for a story. Just be like, yep, point A to B. Because, like, the story gets really ham-fisted with, like, gender and sexuality, and you're just like, that seemingly kind of comes out of nowhere.
Well, also, the first time you go back in time, it it's almost that Empire Strikes Back moment where they cut the helmet off and his face is in the helmet. It just like it stops dead that game in its tracks, and I'm just like, what the fuck is
Don't
going
go
on?
in expecting like the best story ever, but man, that game plays really well, and it's hard to not recommend it for that.
Well, I'm going to tell you about another Metroidvania game that I think you should play in a minute. But first, Shadow Man made it to the consoles. I'm so happy. I booted this up and played it. These new controls are a little weird, but I did get used to them after a minute. I like that it has the option to go back to the classic controls.
The classic controls are rough too, though.
Yeah, though they are rough, but I think it's a nice touch that it's there. There's also so many options that you can customize this game with. I forgot how fucking like creepy and dark the story. I knew it was creepy and dark, but I forgot how creepy and dark it was.
Oh yeah.
Also, watching that intro with the fucking N64/PS1 era character models in like
sex?
high definition. No. The dude that meets up with Jack the Ripper.
Oh god, yeah.
With
Legion.
the blood coming out of his mouth, but it's just a flat
And it's,
texture.
well, no, the kicker on that is the way he's holding his sword, his arm is like backwards.
Yeah, it's so like, man, you can tell when a developer has made a game to look okay on a CRT with like a low resolution, and then it gets blown up into this, and you're like, holy shit, that looks really bad. But yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I know it's going to take me some time to kind of like sit down and really get
That
into
game
it.
is long.
Yeah, and it's a big ass maze. And,
yeah, it's a big ass maze that you're supposed to wander in.
Yeah, so.
Which I know I've criticized Metroid Dread for, but like.
I mean, Shadow Man is of a time, though.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. Shadow Man is of a time, and this is a very good translation of that.
If you've never played it, you're going to play it and be like, what's the big deal? I think this game is definitely more for the likes of us that played it when it came out.
Also, I'm going to just say it now. Nothing kind of looks like Shadow Man.
No.
Like, maybe Quake. Maybe. But, like, go and listen to the audio of it. Like, this is where, like, the industrial hell look really shows off. It's like this is the highest of the industrial hell look in video games. Like it's
also
listen to the Toy Room audio. The audio from the Toy Room is one of the most disturbing things in video games.
It's also the video game where characters are mumbling this dialogue that's supposed to sound so profound, but like it's just wordy at this point.
Well, there's a bunch of lore from the comic books that this picks up on, but
sure, but like when when the intro when you're rolling the boat into the swamp and he's just like going through this long diatribe of shit, and I'm just like, is this really necessary?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, the voice acting's good for the time.
Red Pepper as fucking Shadow Man is one of the coolest voices to this day.
Yeah,
and then they have that weird audio effect when you're in Dead Side, where it fades into the voice. Like, it echoes into it.
Yeah, it's just... man, there's
man.
nothing like Shadow Man. It's just...
The ending of Shadow Man is the first, I think, video game ending that, like, really stuck in my mind.
I'm happy that I can finally play it on a console. A current console. Apologies. I could go play it on the N64 or the PlayStation, but no,
I have both those copies.
Yeah, no thank you.
And I have the original PC version that, like, Night Dive made work on computers. Don't play that either, but just play the enhanced version. They had Tim Haywood come back and add new music for the areas that they built from the, like, scrapped ideas. Like, they went and added content to this version, too.
Yeah. This is a good package. It's $20. You can pick it up on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, and it's pretty cool. All right, the game that I finally got back into. I've got a couple games that I need to get back into, and after the Game of the Year, I know Unsighted was one of them. One of the other games that I was disappointed I didn't get more chance to play, it came out late, was Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth, which is a mouthful of a title. But it's got a little Metroidvania in it. It's got an aesthetic that looks a lot like Symphony of the Night. And I really like what this game is doing. So it's got the traditional Castlevania map where you can kind of see where you can go, where you can't go. It's got save rooms. You will pick up powers. You will also pick up weapons. There's weapons you can get from enemies. You can buy new weapons. This game is a hell of a lot better than you think it's going to be, and also really weird because it's based on an anime that I know nothing about. And I don't feel like I need to know anything about the anime to be able to pop into this game and enjoy it. I think it's also on Game Pass, if I remember correctly. So if you are into Metroidvania games, I highly suggest checking it out. It's got some really cool giant like screen-filling boss designs. I love that the combat has this little mixture of back and forth. So you get these two orbs early on in the game, a blue one and an orange one. And the blue one allows you to kind of float when you jump, and then the red one allows you to add like fire attack. And it has a little bit of what's the game? Ikaruga, where there are these kind of like sections, like the red and the orange and the blue sections, where you can actually pass through them and absorb the damage if you're switched to that proper orb. The orbs also will level, so like not like level as in progression, but level as in like level 1, level 2, level 3 as you use them. And if one of them is on level 3, if you switch to that, it automatically refills your health over time. So there is a benefit to keeping those at level 3. You will also get powers. So one of the first powers you get is this bow and arrow. And the bow and arrow will actually it will like bounce off of metal walls. So one of the puzzles that you have to solve in the game is you have to figure out what angle to shoot the arrow at in order to cut the rope in order to pass forward. So you kind of have to you have to solve a geometry problem in order to progress. And it's a lot of that mixed into a really solid 2D combat system with a look that feels like a modern HD version of Symphony of the Night. And it really just, it doesn't do anything like specially new, but it just nails everything that it imitates. And I think it's just a really fun game. And as Anthony's posted in the chat now, it is on Game Pass. So go check it out. Awful name, Record of Lodos War, Deedlit, and Wonder Labyrinth. But probably one of the best Metroidvania games I've played in quite a while. Highly recommend that game. And that, I think, is it. Unless, Anthony, you want me to talk about Overwatch? I played a little bit of that over the past week. Sure? No? Yes? Anybody still alive? Nope? Cool.
We're going to pretend I didn't hear it.
Alive. Yeah.
All right. Excuse me. All right, let's talk about what's coming out this week. We're finally getting some stuff, a little bit of stuff. Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5. We've got. Actually, I think this is only Xbox, right? Nobody Saves the World, the new game from what's the name of that developer? They did Guacamelee and Drinkbox Studios. Yeah, the new game from Drinkbox Studios. Nobody Saves the World is out. It's a day one into Game Pass. So,
yeah, Xbox and PC only.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'm sure it'll come to PlayStation at some point. I hate these fucking stupid timed exclusives. They're so dumb. Dismantle. Here's a weird one. Xbox is getting its first Hatsune Miku game, and it's Hatsune Miku Logic Paint S. So it's a painting game.
No, it's a Picross game.
Oh, sorry, Picross game. Why is it called Paint then?
Because they're not allowed to use Picross.
Okay. So there you go. First Hatsune Miku game on Xbox. Picross game. Black Wind, which actually I have been playing that too. I can't talk about that. Hitman Trilogy. So Hitman 1, 2, and 3 of the new Hitman Trilogy.
Finally coming to Steam too.
Yep. Golf Legend RPG. Whoa, my screen just went blank. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Okay, weird. Like my monitor literally just went black. That was weird. RPG or RP Golf Legends. I guess it's supposed to be like Golf Story or something.
It sure looks like Golf Story with a lot of fantasy in it, yeah.
Okay, so if you wanted to play Golf Story but you don't have a Switch, maybe you play this. And then
However, it is published by Kemco, so...
Ooh, boy, that hurts. And then Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Extraction. So the first kind of, I guess you'd call it a big game? Maybe?
I don't even know what it is.
It's like Left 4 Dead. Okay. Queen Army. River City Girls coming to PlayStation 5. And Trigger Witch is out on Friday for PlayStation 5.
Trigger Witch.
Trigger Witch. It sounds like you're going to say something dirty, but you just didn't quite
It
get
does.
there. PlayStation 4, Xbox One.
You know what they say? The world needs witch triggers too.
That's true. That's very true. PlayStation 4, Xbox One, a lot of the same games, but also Fatum Betula. Is that how you say it? Fatum?
I think it's Fatum Betula.
Fatum Betula.
I started that up.
Fatum
That
Betula.
game
It's a good name.
So that dev is one of those devs that like is working with like low poly to make like fake PS1 games.
Okay.
And I think that's the same one that did There's Something Under the Lake, which is like a fishing game, and yeah, Bryce Butcher. Mysteries Under Lake Ophelia, which is like a fishing game that gets weird. Anyways, this is a somewhat horror, like LSD dream emulator sort of.
Oh, I've always
thing.
wanted an LSD Dream emulator.
It's fucking weird, but like it has a little bit more like of a story rather than like LSD Dream Emulator, which is like not really story based. It's just kind of random. It's fucking weird, and I was like, yeah, I don't think I'm in the right mindset for this chaos.
I really like saying the name though. Fatum Betula. It's a pretty good name. Windjammers 2. I think that is that's everything. That's Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch. And then Gravity Chase, which is the 477th attempt to replace Wipeout / F-Zero. So, in case you were keeping count.
I do love Wipeout and F-Zero. So,
well, this will be the 400.
What did you say it was called again?
Gravity Chase.
Okay.
That is a good logo, except I can't read the first word, like, immediately.
Yeah, I know, but that's an old school sort of logo too, right? Like, the guy understands what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean he clearly grew up in that era. PlayStation 4, we got Arcade Archives Hopping Mappy. A lot of the same stuff. Yeah, it's all the same stuff. So nothing outside of Arcade Archives for PlayStation. So let's go to Switch. We've got Dobo's Heroes. Kubi Adventures. I laughed the other day when I saw that Stadia released 100 games in the year of our Lord 2021 total. And I think about the Switch releasing 100 games a week. I'm just like, get on Switch's level, Stadia.
Get on A level, Stadia.
I would rather it just...
17 of those games are brand new, and the rest of them were fucking from 7 years ago.
Are you seriously thinking 17 of them were new? That's a high number for me.
New in terms of like, oh, this game came out within the last year.
Okay, so...
On that topic, do you know what I bought on Switch for $1.50?
What?
Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered Edition.
Oh yeah, I saw that was like on like a deep discount.
Yeah, it
that's the
was
reason why I picked up.
$2.99, and then I had $1.50 worth of those gold coins. So
Man,
I'm
I
glad
those-
for
picked up Saints
$1.50.
Row 4.
Yeah, Saints Row 4 was like $1.50 over the holidays too, or something like that.
So I do like Red Faction Gorilla. So I figured for $1.50, there was no harm in picking it up.
Yeah, I mean it's got to run probably as good as a 360 game, right?
I would think, yeah. We'll see. I haven't booted it up
I
yet.
don't want to set any expectations for the Switch, but you know,
The first building you destroy, the Switch crashes entirely.
yeah, it's like fuck it, I can't do this.
Just throws its hands up in the air.
You ever see those videos where they draw the hands on the little stick hands? Yeah,
Yeah.
we need one for the Switch whenever it's trying to run like a game.
Yeah.
Racing Classics Pro, Drag Race, and Real Speed. Yes, that's all one game. Shadow Man is a week later on the Switch, so that version's out this week. Top Bike Racing and Moto Drag. Drowning Cross. Labyrinth Legend. Queen Army. Guild of Ascension. Vivid Knight. Is that like a knight with like some fucking neon armor or something? Alien Destroyer, straight to the point. Good, I like that. Animal Revolt Battle Simulator. Same. Demon Hunter Ascendance. Dragon Hills 2. Jank Brain. There's a game name for you. Or if you want, you can play Make the Burger.
Sometimes
Fuck
I feel
it.
like I get a jank brain.
Fuck it.
Gank Brain looks as bad as you think it looks.
I kind of expected it. Fuck it. You don't even need to go outside anymore because Nintendo Switch now has Nature. That's a game. It's called Nature. Pixel Game Maker Series Thunder Striker. Thunder Striker's all caps, by the way. Thunder Striker!
Thunder Striker.
Road Bustle. Scrap Knot. Oh shit. The forecast is calling for this next game. It's a baby storm. I don't... Fucking weird games. Go Minimal. That's the next game. Kinduo. Merrick's Market. And finally, The Company Man.
The Company Man.
Yeah.
So I looked up Drowning Cross because I'm like, that's a weird fucking name for something. It's a point-and-click adventure. Looks pretty good, but it's free on Steam. So,
Well, you know, if it's free on Steam, it's gotta have a price on the Switch.
yep.
You fucked up my joke. I was gonna say The Company Man was the sequel to The Wall Street Kid, but you know, whatever. All right. My notes. I was pissed. I wrote my notes down Friday, and then come back, and apparently my Microsoft Word did not save my notes, so I had to rewrite them this morning, 10 minutes before the show. Ubisoft Plus is coming to Xbox, the service, but not included in Game Pass. And then also announced in that same announcement was Rainbow Six Siege is coming day one to Game Pass. So, Ubisoft finally getting in on the Game Pass conversation. Hitman Trilogy also coming day one to Game Pass. That's out this week. So if you've not played any of those games, you now can play all three of them within the Game Pass.
And you should. Because they're all three exceptional.
Yes, good games. Not for me, but good games. All right. Do we all remember when this generation started where Sony said, we believe in generations, we're moving forward, you know, and Xbox said, well, we'll be across the board, you know, back compat, all that fun stuff. Well, the lack of PS5 production has caused Sony to go back and start producing more PS4s.
Yep.
On the other hand, Microsoft has discontinued the Xbox One.
Yep.
What the fuck? Like what?
Well, now to be fair, with the Microsoft part, they are just moving resources to the console that they would sell you for that price anyways.
That's my point. Like
Which is the Series S.
The S, like these console shortages have made the S one of the smartest decisions Microsoft made this generation. Because people can just go out and buy that, and it's like in place of an Xbox One. It still gets you into the new ecosystem. It still allows you to play the new games, but it's also the same price as an Xbox One. On the other hand, Sony's about to start making PS4s again, which will cost the same as an Xbox Series S.
Yeah, because they used PS4s right now are expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. Like, it's just such a weird about face that is just weird to me. And it's just like, I feel like, don't even discredit the fact that like all of Sony's big games this year are also coming to PS4, which I think is smart. I think that's a good thing, but it's just funny compared to what they said when this whole thing started. Just weird, man. It's all weird. Xbox Series consoles combined have sold 12 million already, which is more than any other Xbox at this point. So that's good. 2022 is already kicking off delays. You ready for delays again? Stalker 2, which was due out in April, has now been delayed to December. That's a big delay.
That is a big delay.
Yep, 8 months. Final Fantasy XIV is finally going back on sale on January 25th. If you don't know that game, they had to stop selling it because the servers were so overloaded, which is a good problem to have. But they will start reselling subscriptions and copies of the game on January 25th. Microsoft announced they're making some major updates to the Halo Infinite microtransaction system, dropping the prices of some pieces as well as allowing some pieces to be purchased individually. I guess that store's kind of a mess. I think the biggest thing people want right now is for them to fix big team battle. I don't know, I fell off Halo's multiplayer real quick because I suck, and there's a lot of cheaters out there.
Yeah, and I just don't have time to invest in a multiplayer game right now.
I mean, you already really suck at it because you didn't play every day since launch. So
True story. Yeah. That's the biggest challenge, I think.
Well, also, the forced crossplay has apparently caused a shitload of cheaters in that game, which just does not sound fun at all.
No.
Dying Light 2 was on display this week. They showed off the old version, like the old console versions, the new console versions. They've also said that they will support that game for up to 5 years, which is good, but also...
Sort of, they fucking supported the last one for like a decade. So.
That's what I'm saying, is like, the Techland guys, like, say what you want about their games, they do support the shit out of them. So, there was a new trailer this week for Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and they announced the release date, which is March 25th, and holy god, that game looks good!
Give it to me. Yeah.
So excited for Kirby. Man, I love Kirby.
We might be talking about Kirby come January 2023, if you know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean.
Game of the year.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I'm pumped for that game.
That, like, of the announced games that are coming out this year, Nintendo still claims Breath of the Wild 2 is, but I don't believe them. I think Kirby might be my most exciting game coming from Nintendo.
The last one, Star Allies, was excellent. So
I still don't think I've played. That was a Switch one, right?
It is, yeah, and it's multiplayer. It's exceptionally good.
Can you play it by yourself?
You can, yep.
I don't think I own that. I don't think I've played that one.
Yeah, you should play that for sure. That game is excellent.
The nice part about this new one is that it doesn't feel like I can kind of brush it aside and go, oh, yeah, but I've played Kirby before, because this is very different.
Yeah, this feels almost like a Mario level Kirby.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for it. Sony has stopped selling PlayStation Now cards in Europe. They stopped it a couple months back in the US. And it seems kind of like maybe we're going to get an announcement about that Spartacus. Maybe
Or they just shut down fucking PS Now because they're like, God, this is a fucking waste of money.
I don't think that's happening.
I take a little bit of joy because I know that there's a couple people out there that will insist that it's a better service than Microsoft, and I'm like, no, it's not.
Anybody that says PlayStation Now is better than Game Pass is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, that's
I
not
don't understand
biased.
why aren't people talking about PS Now. Well, grumpy man on the internet.
Yeah,
I can tell you why.
I mean, all you gotta do is say day and date first party games, and boom. Like that right
God
there.
of War was a limited time.
Yeah, you were only allowed to play it for like 2 months or something. That's so
yeah,
stupid.
I get fucked.
A game that is like regularly $7, you can't put on your fucking stream service.
And that's where I'm like, yeah, that's why. That's why people don't talk about it.
Yeah, like people got to play Halo Infinite's campaign for free day one. They got to play Forza Horizon 5 day one for free. And you can't keep fucking God of War on your service?
For it too.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like, I'm not asking for day and date even, but like when you're selling the game for like $10, you know.
Not only that, but
on the
shouldn't there be like a
service.
statute of limitation on it? Like God of War's been out for 6 months or a year. It just stays there. It's your game.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Like, I'm with you. It doesn't have to be day and I would love it to be day and date. That would make the
But
service.
it's like, yeah, you know, it's been a year. We're selling it for $10 now, so obviously we've made our money back. Fuck it, onto the service.
If
You
so,
know, Days Gone didn't make its money back. It's been a year.
put it on PlayStation
You know,
now.
Just put it on PlayStation Now. You know, like Horizon Zero Dawn, we're selling the whole thing with the DLC for $10. Boom, it's on the service.
Dude, if Sony I'm just going to say this, if Sony did put their first party games on their day and date, PlayStation Now would be better than Game Pass. Like, that immediately would make it better than Game Pass.
I agree.
Just throwing that out there. I mean, shit. Imagine being able to play Horizon next month. Horizon 2. Day and date. Didn't have to buy it. Dude, everybody'd sub to that service.
Yeah.
You're crazy. Alright, Twisted Metal, the new one, you know, the one that hasn't officially been announced yet, has already switched developers. Sony has replaced Lucid Games with Fire Sprite because, well, you know, Lucid Games made Destruction All-Stars, so I'd replace them too. Sorry. That was cold. I don't
I don't know
know.
if we actually knew for a fact that they were working on this anyways. Like, I want to say it was just rumored because...
Sony won't
I don't know.
announce it. I imagine the announcement's coming with the TV show announcement, which has also been heavily rumored, right?
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
I do. I love Twisted Metal.
I
do.
just don't think it's going to be good.
I have to have hope, Anthony. I have to have hope.
They haven't been good since the PS1.
No, PS2.
They've been good since Black, yeah.
Black was incredible. I will not fight for that last one that came out. It was not very good. All right, last news tidbit I have. I heard this. This is weird. Apparently this has floated around for a while, and it just kind of got brought back up this week. Killer Instinct supposedly has been in development. I'll give you one guess as to who's working on it, because I didn't hear this.
I know. I've heard it, so...
Okay. Like, I hadn't heard this until this week, but apparently it's been floating around for a while. It's weird. You want to take a stab, Ryan? You want to throw a guess?
I couldn't even guess.
Bandai Namco.
Definitely wouldn't have guessed that.
And I guess it makes sense because they worked on Smash Brothers?
They work on Tekken.
Well, I mean, it's the Smash Brothers team that's supposedly rumored to be working on Killer Instinct. Like, I know Namco Bandai publishes Tekken, but that's made by Harada's team.
Yeah, but I mean, they do Soul Calibur as well. Like, I'm just saying, like, they do a lot in fighting games. So, to me, it's not a huge surprise.
I mean, I'd be surprised if Bandai Namco was making A new Killer Instinct. That just seems weird.
It seems weird that they're trying to make a new Killer Instinct. You're correct, but that's where that's weird.
No, don't you dare. Killer Instinct should never die.
Ken.
What?
Ken. The last one didn't do that well.
But it was
It did
awesome.
well, but it wasn't. Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Do you think some guy in a suit's like, yeah, but it was cool though, so that's the reason why we're gonna pour more money into it?
I'm just saying, don't discount.
You would also fund a fucking Eternal Champions game, so get fucked out of here. This is
You goddamn right, I would. You know, I make
fucking
games. I'm gonna
game
start my
sucks
own.
ass,
I'm
so
gonna
you
start
can't
my own
do-
development company. Call it For the Gamers. I'm gonna steal Sony's tagline, For the Gamers, bitch. Because I know what the gamers want. They want a new Eternal Champions and a new Killer Instinct.
The only way Eternal Champions could be good is if somehow NetherRealm got ownership of that brand.
Eternal Champions on the Sega CD was a good video game.
No, it isn't good. The kill cutscenes are great. That's about it. That game sucks otherwise.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Or you gonna put that up against Mortal Kombat? The original Mortal Kombat's a way better game than fucking Eternal Champions.
Just because
on
a game
Sega
is
CD.
better doesn't mean that the
It-
other game is not good.
It doesn't play well. It sucks. The kills cutscenes are the only thing you'd forget about that game otherwise.
I never forgot about that game. Dude, I still remember, what was it? I'm a big fighting game, like, ridiculousness. I remember all of them. I still remember Dungeons and Dragons Iron and Blood.
Oh yeah.
You know, I still remember what's critical is it Critical Zone?
I don't know.
Rise of the Robots. Rise of the Robots 2.
yeah.
Way of the Warrior. Like, I got all these games. Dude, I have a version of Tattoo Assassins that I can play. Okay?
That's not a flex.
I'm not
That's a-
flexing. I'm just saying that's how
that's
into
a-
fighting games
that's
I
a-
am.
That's a sad public.
Dynasty
admitted-
Warriors, the first game, is a fighting game.
Yeah, Dynasty Warriors one, yeah.
Kinsai, the Sacred Fist, bitch. Come at me, bro.
You're not defending your tastes, by the way.
It has nothing to do with my taste. I'm just talking about the fucking
Double
fighting.
Dragon 5.
Evil Zone.
Ugh.
How about that? Mace the Dark Age.
Oh God. Bio Freaks.
War Gods. War Gods
Oh,
is
War
good.
Gods. Yeah. How about Air Guys?
Oh man, Air Guys.
Air Guys is a thing.
Tobal 1 and 2.
Tobal 2 is cool. Shit.
Yeah.
Tobal 1 I've never played.
Tobal
I
1,
haven't,
nobody played.
Oh shit. What's the game now? That's. I haven't heard you mention Rival Schools yet.
Rival Schools. First one, PlayStation. Project Justice, I believe, is the second one on the Dreamcast, right?
Yep.
Battle Arena Toshinden.
I have all 3 Battle Arena Toshindens on my Polymega, Anthony. I will have you know
I am like, this is still not. This again. The point was like, fucking Eternal Champions is a bad game. So your response was, I'm gonna name off all the bad games. Okay.
Yeah, I love fighting games.
Not defending that I trust you with
Wait.
decision making in a fucking video game company. Thanks.
Masters of the Terrace Kasai.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
Yeah, that's a bad game for sure.
I still have it. I still play it.
That's
Again, this is not like
you should not play that game.
I'm not wearing a priest collar. All right, like this isn't confession. Man.
Oh shit! All right,
Yeah,
let's.
that's not a good game.
No,
To be fair, I don't think that's. I think they knew because they were just like, but it's Star Wars.
What's do you remember what the Tusken Raider's name is in that game?
I don't.
His name is Whore.
I don't even know that I knew that the Tusken Raider in that game had a name.
The
but I guess I
Gamorrean
should've.
guard had a name too. His name was Thok.
Star
What
Wars
the
names
fuck?
are bad. Just saying.
Do you know there's a type
Generally-
of music in Star Wars called jizz?
Jizz. Yeah.
And if you play it, you're a jizz whaler.
People take that fucking IP very seriously, and I don't know how.
All right, let's read some emails. We had a bunch of emails and tweets last week for Game of the Year that we
And we ran out of time.
we did not get to. So let's go. Jeremy sends us an email. He says, "Hey guys, hope you had a great New Year. Right now we're in the middle of a blizzard here in North Idaho. I was looking at my favorite games that I played this year. I'll have to work on that acronym. So here's my list. Number 5, Chorus, would be higher, but I haven't finished it yet. Number 4, Far Cry 5. I had a blast blowing stuff up. Number 3, Dragon Quest XI. The final ending took a long time, but what a great story. Number 2, the Mass Effect Trilogy, best gaming trilogy ever. Number 1, Metroid Dread. The game has had me looking forward to exploring every nook and cranny. Late game traversal was a pain, but I loved my time with it. Looking forward to y'all's lists. I'd also like to take this moment to say that Drew needs to play Dragon's Dogma for Phoenix Down later on, gents. He did send an update email saying that he just finished Chorus. What a friggin' blast. He bumped it up to number 2.
Oh, nice.
Chorus is a great game.
It's on my list to pick up, but
All right.
I'm not done so yet.
Dude, you need to. You're so going to love that game. Chad says, "Howdy crew. So I completed 54 games in 2021, in which 27 of them were released this year. I was able to narrow down a list for my top 10, but it was hard and I'm not very comfortable with the results. Although there was plenty of decent games to play in 2021, I feel like there were too many remasters and not enough bangers. For example, I don't feel like my game of the year would have been in my top 3 any other given year. Although I don't think 2021 really produced any all-time classics, I still had a good year, and I'm sure there are a few games I will revisit in the coming years. Here's my personal top 10 list for 2021. Number 10, Little Nightmares 2. Number 9, Returnal. Both of those games were not on anybody's list, by the way, on our show. Number 8, Death's Door. Number 7, Guardians of the Galaxy. Number 6, Tales of Arise. Number 5, Psychonauts 2. Number 4, Kena, Bridge of Spirits. Number 3, Resident Evil Village. Number 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. And number 1, It Takes Two. Nice. I honestly did not anticipate that It Takes Two or Ratchet & Clank would take my top 2 spots. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but I've looked at these games both subjectively and objectively, and both came out on top every time when considering my criticisms with all of the games on the list. Personally, I think Ratchet was really well done, but otherwise safe. I think the reason why I'm uncomfortable making It Takes Two my game of the year is because of the same bias that everyone else has right now. However, I heard someone else make a good point that if this was a Mario and Luigi game, people would be calling it one of the greatest games of all time.
I'm not sure the bias that he's referring to.
I think it's just Joseph Ferris in general or something. I don't
See,
know.
I don't know. Like, I don't. Yeah, he's kind of obnoxious on stage, but like, I think it's genuine. Like, I don't know how to put it. I think he's like super optimistic about his work and his team. Like, unlike other people that go on stage, and you're just like a fucking this asshole. You know, like I don't. He's never been the reason why like I didn't think his stuff was like top tier. It was like the writing, which is better in It Takes Two than it was in A Way Out. But like, you know, their game is fantastic. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. He says, I didn't want to include any remasters on my top 10 list, so I've reserved a few honorable mentions below to include Nier Replicant, Mass Effect Trilogy, Ghost of Tsushima cut with Iki Island, and Death Stranding Director's Cut.
I think the only one where sorry, can you go through that list again? There was one that stood out to me.
Nier Replicant.
Yeah, Nier Replicant I think is the only one where I'd go, yeah, I could see it kind of possibly making it, because it doesn't run like shit now.
It's also a different version of the game.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, like, that original version is so rough in comparison. I mean, this still has a lot of the issues though too, so it's like I don't know.
Here's an interesting thing we can go through. Here are my other category nominations for the year. He also wants to know if we have any personal choices to fit these 5 categories. Biggest disappointment, Disco Elysium, The Final Cut. I think we all kind of did a biggest disappointment on our list.
Yeah, mine was Eastward.
Yeah, I think mine was Fatal Frame and
Yeah.
something else. I know I had something else on there.
Yeah, you did. I just can't remember what it is right now.
Wombat, did you have a disappointment, or did you not play enough games to be disappointed?
I did have a disappointment. I had a disappointment. It was the Dungeons and Dragons game.
That's right. Yeah, that game
Dark Alliance.
That game was
Yeah,
super
even
disappointing.
though I did actually play a decent amount of it.
Man, I should have put Overwatch in my biggest disappointments of 2021.
Come out this year doesn't count.
Because we, got 0 fucking content all year.
Yeah, I didn't get any content for fucking Aiden, the goddamn Mage Chronicles for N64 either, so...
That's not an ongoing game, asshole.
Well, neither is Overwatch.
Touche.
It felt bad saying it.
But it's not
But
true.
Not true.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Biggest turd. He put 12 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I said the worst game of the year was 12 minutes.
Yeah, I picked that
so-
werewolf game. Ooh.
I looked at that werewolf game. You know what the sad part is? I'm like, when that goes on sale, I'll probably give it a shot.
Oh, man, it's so bad.
Yeah, but it looks like my type of janky bad.
I don't know.
Or I'm like, yeah, I can enjoy a little bit of this.
Hey, I like janky bad, but that game is
but
something
we have
special.
different tastes. We have different tastes in jank.
Oh, man.
So
Ryan, did you have a turd?
No, I generally don't play anything if I think it's going to be that bad.
That's true.
I didn't think 12 minutes was going to be bad, but here we are.
That's true.
And I looked at that game and knew exactly that it was not going to be for me at all. So I
That's
did not play
fair.
it.
I looked at it and went, that sounds like something that I'd be into. Like, I like time loop shit. I like point and click adventures. Oh.
All right, these next 3 are more fun. A game I liked, but everyone else hated. He picked Biomutant. That's a pretty good pick.
I mean, I think Ken, you and I can also agree to that one.
Yeah, I beat that game. I really enjoyed that game.
I think that would be probably my choice too. I don't know why everybody was so harsh on that game.
I have no clue. I think because it was $60.
Okay, I paid $60 for worse experiences.
Oh, 100%. Do you have one of those, Ryan? Maybe not.
No.
How about a game I didn't like that everyone else loved? He picked Deathloop. That's a pretty good one.
I mean, that's me on most days. I fucking seem to hate everything that everybody else loves. Well, I mean, Metroid Dread I don't hate. But I didn't love it.
Well,
And everybody else-
he didn't say that you hated it. He said game I didn't like.
Yeah, well then I'd say Metroid Dread, because it's not like I didn't like that game either, but it was like everybody seemed to love that game and said that's exactly what they wanted Metroid to be. And I'm gonna be honest with you, as someone that's played most Metroid games, just like whether to completion or not, it didn't feel good to play, in my opinion. Like everybody's like, well, like even Jay's like, I felt the invisible hand of the developer guiding me along. I'm like, well, that fucking hand wasn't there for me. So I don't see it, and no matter how hard I look, I can't see it still. And it's annoying, because I'm like, maybe something eventually will click, because I'm the first person to say, like, Yakuza, I went in expecting a beat 'em up and was horribly disappointed, but when I started hearing about people say, like, it's an RPG, like, something clicked in my head and went, oh, that makes way more sense. Like, oh, these are random battles. Got it.
I think I'm with him on Deathloop. Like, I tried to like that game, but then again, I guess it's not fair because I don't really like those kind of games. Like those roguelike time loop kind of games. Those are just not my jam, and everybody speaks so highly of Deathloop, and I was just like, man, I just don't care. What about you, Wombat? Do you have a game that you played that you didn't like but everybody else loved?
No.
Besides Breath of the
No.
Wild, you know?
You mean it like in history?
No, just 2021.
No. I don't know. My standards are generally much lower than most people's, so I can find enjoyment in stuff that a lot of people seem to think is terrible. So
All
very
right.
rarely is there a game that I don't like that everybody else likes. And this year, I didn't play enough to even have anything approximating that.
Well, that's fair. Final one.
I got a weird one that's kind of a weird pull, and I realize like most people just don't play these games, but like as an Earth Defense Force fan, people are telling me like, oh, World Brothers was so much better than the last game. Well, the last game was, I think, Iron Rain, and I thought Iron Rain was a way better game than World Brothers. And it's like, I think that series is now oversaturated, and we need to stop having them almost yearly or every 2 years. Like, there needs to be a bigger jump between the Earth Defense Force games. And again, I know this is a super niche category, but like everybody else that likes those series seems to have enjoyed this last one, and I'm like, this was a total step in the like. It wasn't terrible, but like, I don't think this is where this series should continue going.
Yeah. The last one is 2021 game I wish I played but didn't have time. His was Halo Infinite.
I mean, just take any game, put it in. Good. You know, 'cause most of that.
Yeah, I think mine was that Record of Lodoss War game. I really wanted to dig more into that, but I just did not get around to it. So.
After Jay talked about it, give me a second. I can give you the name of the thing again. The Everhood. As soon as Jay started talking about it, I was like, "Oh fuck, that sounds super interesting," and I want to play it, but I didn't even know it existed, so I don't know if that counts.
All right, Wombat, do you have one?
No, I do not.
Okay. You didn't want to play Chorus or?
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. Yeah. Chorus is, I mean, yes.
All right.
I don't know. I don't think about that game that way because it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Like, I will be playing that game. It's just a question of when I can get a chance to pick it up.
That's fair. All right, Jeremy sent another email I'm going to read before we go over to the Twitter. He says, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is friggin' awesome. Definitely would have made my list if I'd played it last year. Also, it was great to hear Jay drop by last week and humble brag about his difficulty settings. Haha, sorry for the email bomb laters. Yeah, Jay's humble brag about his skills, man.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, he's skilled enough that he doesn't even have to humble brag about it. He can just brag about it.
Yeah, I played a fighting game with him once. Don't ever do that.
Oh, yeah, not a chance.
I think my moral victory was scoring one hit on him. That's my humble brag.
What were you playing?
Which one was it? It was either Blaze Blue or Guilty Gear. So that was my
That
first
was your
mistake.
first. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say that was your first mistake. You got to take him into Mortal Kombat or something.
He'd probably beat me in that too.
You're right, but you probably get more hits off.
That's fair. That dude is just. Good lord. All right, Mookie sent us his. He says favorites with no particular order: The Ascent, challenging fun; F1 2021, addictive and strategic fun; Kingdom 2 Crowns, all current DLCs, addicting and fun, especially when I sync it with the mobile version; Wild Rift, a better version of mobile MOBA than Mobile Legends. Say that 3 times fast. Whew. Adam says, I didn't play much new this year, so it would probably be Ratchet, but I did just platinum Death Stranding. What a ride with Norman Reedus. Very funny. Charlie sends his in, says Ratchet and Clank, Kena, Metroids, Ghosts of Tsushima, and It Takes Two. Aaron says Returnal, Death's Door, Halo Infinite multiplayer. Some good choices here. All right. Mookie says I would highly recommend the crew play, including Ken and Drew and Anthony, to check out the OST game from Draw Chili. You can thank me later. I don't know.
Draw chili?
Draw Chili. I don't know what that is.
Sorry, it's a game or is it the soundtrack?
It says check out the OST game from Draw Chili. That's how it's worded, so I don't know if he's referring to the soundtrack.
Okay, so I'm looking at the game.
Draw Chili.
Didn't know what to expect. This sure as fuck ain't it. I don't know. An arcade game about Vladimir, his squad, Purgatory, and the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And if you're like, what did you just say? I'm like, yep, that's...
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay.
I'll give it a listen.
All right, you listen to that. Lunatic Priest says, have any of you guys seen the movie Turbo Kid? It's like a post-apocalyptic Mega Man superhero movie. I think you would love it. Oh, and my game of the year goes to Chorus, followed by Psychonauts 2. Keep up the great work.
Drew and I love Turbo Kid.
I've never seen it.
You'd love it. It's hyper violent, so don't watch it with your child. Only because the amount of gore in it is a lot. Even though it's like an action comedy, it is like early Peter Jackson levels of gore, which most people won't pick up on, but he used to do some really gory shit before he did Lord of the Rings. It's so fucking good. It takes place in the future of the 1990s, and everybody rides dirt bikes or BMX bikes because there's no gas, and they're fighting over water. So it's Mad Max on BMX bikes. And yeah, I picked it up because I saw the trailer. Went, that soundtrack's amazing. I want to see that. Watched it, loved it, and I show everybody. I'll just hand the Blu-ray to people and be like, "You need to watch this movie. It's so much fun." And the soundtrack by Lamatos is, it's some of the best like synth music like ever. It's that good. So yeah, you need to watch it. I don't know if that's something you'd be interested in, Ryan, because I don't really know your movie tastes, but
my movie tastes are not watching movies.
all right, well there you go.
Yeah, he likes Marvel
I-
movies, and he hasn't even watched those. So
Yeah, it's a true story.
Ken, you need to watch this though.
all right, I'll
Right.
look into it. I'll look and see if it's streaming anywhere, and if it's not, where it's available. I'll take a look. Gamer Chat Radio wants to know what you all think is up with PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now subscription. In my opinion, if they merged, good move for gamers. Thoughts? So,
Go
yeah,
ahead, Ken.
kind of a wrinkle in this. I think it's a glitch, but this morning I saw Tom from The Verge was posting that PlayStation 3 games were showing up in the PlayStation 5 store for purchase. But I think it's a glitch.
that's the glitch. It's actually those are the prices from PS Now.
Yeah. I think
So-
that's a glitch. But as far as... Go ahead, Ryan, with what you were going to say about combining them.
I was just going to say that anything that moves PlayStation closer to a system that's like Game Pass is going to be good for gamers.
Yeah. I cannot not agree with that because it's like... I want competition to breed change on all the fronts, except Nintendo's. Nintendo's never going to give a shit. They don't give a shit what you do. But with Game Pass being as big as it is, I really want Sony to do it too, because it's just good for all of us. It's good for the people who don't give a fuck about which plastic box they're playing on.
True story.
So... yeah, I hope that we do get this. I hope that we get a PlayStation equivalent. Because I'm going to be real honest with you, I don't know about you guys, but I've just gotten to the point where I am subscribed to so much shit.
Yeah.
Like, I really need some consolidation. I have
Yeah.
way too...
I
And
have
then,
like I
Was
have
it?
like 3 subscriptions. That's it.
Netflix is upping the prices again.
I don't watch enough shit to make it worthwhile to stay on. To be honest with you. Like I pay for one of the few people probably. I pay for YouTube, so I can get no ads. That's nice. And save videos to my phone so I can watch them without internet or whatever.
Yeah. YouTube is one of the few I don't pay for.
Yeah, I don't watch enough stuff on YouTube to even think about subscribing to YouTube.
Well, it gives me access to their music catalog too. I mean Nintendo, the basic one, not the expansion pack. Fuck that noise. Sorry, then there's Humble Monthly, which is going to change soon, so God knows if I'm staying with that. And Xbox, that's it.
Dude, I have a PlayStation Gold. I have Ultimate Game Pass. And that's just the video games. I also have the Nintendo Online with expansion. So
I don't have the expansion, but
yeah, I have all 3 of those. I don't think there's a streaming service I don't subscribe to of the big ones.
yeah, like I don't subscribe to Paramount Plus,
I do.
but I subscribe.
But it's a mountain
to,
of content.
I subscribe to basically all the other ones, like Peacock, HBO Max, Netflix, Hulu.
Yeah.
Disney
It makes
Plus.
it makes my life really easy that most of those aren't even up here.
Yeah, that's about the only way I wouldn't subscribe to them, I think, because I'm a whore. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I have all the subscriptions. I think Peacock is the only one I don't have, and that's because somebody's lending me a profile.
Mm.
So,
I have Peacock because I was subscribed to WWE Network, and when you subscribe to WWE Network, you got that for a considerable discount.
yeah, I can imagine. I have that Disney Hulu bundle, which also has ESPN Plus, which I
Yep.
think is like $20 a month. Because people like, will you subscribe to Hulu? Like the package they offer you for $12.99 is the Hulu package with ads, and I'm like, fuck ads.
Yeah, fucking ad.
Yeah, I'm not paying. I will pay the extra couple bucks to get no ads, because fuck you, I'm not paying for ads. And then I have all the rest of them. Speaking of which, I just watched The Eternals. I don't know why people hate that movie. Like,
They don't know the characters.
I mean,
That's it. I mean,
they didn't know the Avengers when those movies came out either.
yeah, you had some. People say that, but it's like you didn't know Iron Man because I mean, really, the characterization in the comics is fairly different. But like, you didn't really know Tony Stark, but you recognized Iron Man, you recognized Hulk, you recognized Captain America. Like, just because you didn't know the characters didn't mean you didn't recognize them. Like, when I say they don't know the Eternals, they don't know the Eternals by costume even.
Well, I mean,
So
we're so deep into these movies now, they got to start digging deeper for the characters. I mean, they're making a
for
Moon
sure.
Knight TV show.
well, okay, Moon Knight has before this even happened, Moon Knight had started picking up for some reason popularity.
I'm
It's just
sorry.
getting more and more.
I'm sorry, but so many of these characters that I see come out of these shows, the normal person doesn't know shit about them.
I'm telling you right now, comic book fans though,
but comic book
people
fans
that
should know
buying
who the
comics
Eternals
now-
are.
But they haven't, because the Eternals haven't been main characters until this movie came out. They didn't reboot it until recently. So they're all comic book fans that are older knew who the Eternals were, but it was never the most popular series.
I mean,
Moon Knight was more popular than the Eternals. Because as soon as you start getting to weird space shit with Marvel, it gets weirder and weirder the further you go in.
how many people knew the Guardians of the Galaxy before those movies came out?
Yeah, they had to reboot that entirely.
But it was still good. People liked it. People got into it, and now Star-Lord is a household name.
But it's also James Gunn, and I think that's the difference with the Eternals, is that the Eternals is not a comedy movie.
James Gunn made Javelin relevant in 2021. Dude, I'm a DC fan. I don't know who the fuck Javelin was.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he chose those characters, but whatever.
Oh, shit.
But it's just like, some of it is based on who is heading the project, and the other half is like whether or not there's a character basis in it. They had done work on getting Rocket Raccoon to be more visible of a property before Guardians came out.
I don't know.
Like that is not the case with the Eternals.
I thought
like,
The
it just
Eternals
isn't.
was a good movie.
I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm just saying, like, a lot of people went in, I think, expecting to recognize something, but we're getting into cosmic Marvel
Spider-Man
stuff. Like,
just
you're
goes
not going to
swing through.
You're not
going to
recognize shit.
Spider-Man just swing through at one point, like, "What's up?"
Like, it gets weirder and weirder the further you go into, like, Jack Kirby's nonsense. Like, it's... the fact that, like, Silver Surfer and Galactus, a guy that eats planets, are, like, on the normal side of stuff, tell you everything you need to know.
I don't know. I thought it was a good movie, and I had to look up who the Stinger was. No spoilers, FYI.
Are you talking the actor, or are you talking the...
No. I knew who the actor
character.
was. I just
Yeah,
didn't know who the
same.
character was.
Stinger
Well,
is Steve Borden. He's been wrestling for a long time.
Shh, stop that. Dude's like 90 and still out there putting fucking leg locks on people. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, PlayStation Plus. Adam does come into this chat. He says, "I really hope the 3 tiers thing is bullshit. It sounds confusing. I'm hoping it's just 2 levels. We already have 2 levels. That's the problem, right? We got PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now.
No, it's not 2 levels.
But I mean, there's 2
It's
things.
2 things. And one of them doesn't get, like, having one of them doesn't give you the other. A 2-tier would at least be like, if you just want this without the streaming, here you go, or whatever it is, or the reverse. And then there's one price for both of them combined. It sounds better in practice than, like, having you subscribe to 2 different things.
Man,
I
I've
don't
been
know.
subscribed to PlayStation
It sounds
Now.
like a terrible idea regardless, because I feel like they're going to fuck it up.
Well, here's
But-
the thing. I've been subscribed to PlayStation Now twice. And I don't think it's very good. Like, the streaming sucks. Like, the PlayStation 3 game streaming is not very good. I have never enjoyed that part of it. And then I look at the games that are available, and I'm like, well, the games that I care about are on Game Pass. Everything else just seems kind of like... And what do they do? Like, add, like, 4 games a month? Like, that's not enough.
I don't know. I think we've got to wait and see how they fuck this up, or make it amazing.
Wait and see how they fuck it up. Okay, that's positive. Positive reinforcement. All right. Adam also says, so after all that Days Gone numbers crap the other week, I decided to download it for my PS Plus collection, and wow, it's not as bad as everyone says. Did any of you guys play it the month or so after it came out? I remember it was buggy and broken as hell at the start.
I played it when it came out.
I did
reviewed
too.
it.
Yeah.
I never had those issues.
It
Now,
was not
I'm not
buggy,
saying those
no.
issues. I'm not saying those issues didn't exist. What I'm saying is that I feel like this is a grander statement about the internet in general. There is always something that needs to be kicked every month in video games, right? There's always needs to be a video game that's going to get kicked. And I feel like a lot of people from the outset of seeing the trailer for this decided that Days Gone was going to be, the horse they're going to beat, the dead horse they're going to beat. So, like, I think not a targeted attack. I don't think they made those glitches happen, but I feel like everybody was just waiting for those glitches to happen to put them online and say, see, this game is terrible. Because it's not a terrible game. It really isn't. I played it day one. Actually, I had it before the game came out even, and like I wasn't having those issues. So it was never as bad as people made it out to be. And the biggest issues about that game is stuff that you'll hear from people that now have finished it. Unlike when the game came out and people just criticized the fucking thing because I guess that's what we're doing today. And like a lot of people will say, yeah, it was really good, but it could have ended like 2 or 3 times.
It could have ended like 10 or 15 hours earlier.
Like, yeah, like it kept going, and you'd be like, oh, I'm at the end.
Nope.
And it's like, I mean, okay, like the story's not bad, but like you keep setting up for an ending, and I keep going further into it. And that was kind of my takeaway. Was like, it's not a bad game, but like, fuck, man, like the open world doesn't help this. Like, just streamline this shit down, or like cut the world in half. You know, something to make it smaller, because it was too big for its own good. Those numbers, by the way, were totally fucked up, and the guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I know he worked on the game, but like, this isn't the first time he's had a little outburst and totally gotten shit wrong. I mean, who hasn't among us? But like, you know, he keeps talking about this game like Sony stole it away from him, but that game did not sell well. He was looking at numbers of total players like ever by like trophy amount. And it's like, oh, that doesn't make any sense. Like, they've given away that game for free and shit. So, it's not a bad game though. No, I do recommend playing it. I think there were some really interesting mechanics there. But I feel like they were torn between doing a big narrative and a big open world, and those things don't necessarily combine well every time you do them. So.
Sorry, there was a second tweet where he continues. He says, which is one of the reasons it was reviewed so poorly. I've only had one bug so far that I noticed, and it wasn't game-breaking. Really sad that there will never be a number 2. It really seems like one of those games that would have been amazing on round 2, like Assassin's Creed was.
Yeah. I think another good example from last year, actually, was Balan Wonderworld. Not a good game. Don't think I'm comparing it directly to Days Gone. Days Gone is a better game, but Balan Wonderworld isn't terrible. The demo was terrible. Don't get me wrong, and the Switch version might still be an absolute train wreck. But if you play that game on like anything other than Switch, it's fine. Like, I think the biggest thing you can say is that it's like horribly mediocre. It is is the poster child of a 5, you know? But it's not the worst game ever. I think the price doesn't help, the launch price of it, but I think it was just, this is the game everybody's gonna jump on. And to be fair, I did too, but the demo didn't help that. But people actually went and bought the main game and still went on about it. And it's like, well, is this really that bad? And like, yeah, there's a lot of flaws with it. I think everybody, like anybody that's like, well, Balan Wonderworld, go watch Austin Eruption's video on Balan Wonderworld. He does a really great breakdown of kind of the flaws of it, but finds this weirdness in it that no one else pointed out because he actually platinumed the game because he's insane. But he says don't play it unless you really want to see the weird stuff. But like, it's not great, but it's not bad. And it's like, I don't know, it's this weird thing with the internet. Like, we always have to choose one thing, and everybody's gonna hate that. And like, sometimes I fall into it too, I get it. But like, and sometimes it's legitimately terrible. But other times it's not, like...
And sometimes it's Shenmue.
Okay, well, I was thinking more of like, you know, people were like, oh, we're all gonna jump in on Popeye being terrible. Do we have to? It's bad. Like, that's kind of the end of the conversation. Like,
well, I don't think anybody's having conversations about Popeye. Come on now.
No, but like, there was a month there when it came, like, or a week at least, when it came out, and people were like, look at this piece of shit. It's like, okay, well, I saw one video of it, I'm good. Like, this idea that we have to, there's been so many of them. Life is Strange, when the first episode came out, had a bit of that. It's just this weird, like, I don't understand why we have to tear something down to that extent. Like, if it's really terrible, I think the conversation will continue further on than the first month or so. Because, like, the conversation now with Days Gone is not about how it's a terrible game.
It's so weird that Days Gone is still having a conversation about it, period. I'm going to be honest with you.
True story.
I mean, I thought the game was fine. It's a fine game. I don't know why there was ever any controversy around it. It's so fucking weird.
Well, because people decided that was going to be the fucking thing that everybody needed to hate. Like, I don't understand it. Like, they saw the trailer, I guess, because it wasn't Last of Us, and then it was a hated thing, and then Last of Us 2 had that same thing happen, and I don't know. It's a weird thing that I don't see with other. Maybe it's because video games, I think, have too much of a monoculture attached to it, but like,
Yeah,
it's a weird thing I don't see with music or movies or TV.
Oh, I totally see it with movies. Like people really want to shit on movies. They'll shit on movies.
Okay.
And they will have
that.
They will have like the Eternals is a perfect one. So many people talked about that movie for months, like it was the worst thing that, like it offended them or something. And like I watched it because it finally. I am not going to a theater. I have not seen Spider-Man. You know, I will watch these when they come digitally. I haven't seen the new Resident Evil movie. I want to watch it. I've heard it's terrible, but I still want to watch it. Like, Eternals came to Disney Plus. I watched it. I was like, that was a fun movie. It was an entertaining movie. Why did people spend weeks and months talking about how bad it was? I don't understand it, I guess. Like, if you don't like a movie, the conversation I had about Black Widow. So Black Widow came to Disney Plus. I started watching it. I found it to be extremely boring. I shut it off. I've not had a conversation about it until now, since then. That's what I don't understand. If you don't like something, you just turn it off. Like I don't know why we have to keep having the conversation. Unless it's an all good fun poking at Shenmue. That's fun. Oh, it's a weird thing. I don't know why we're still talking about Days Gone. That game came out, it was fine. We moved on.
Because I think the reason why it gets talked about is that people have been discovering it, going back and going, I don't see how this was terrible.
But it
And
wasn't.
it's like I think exactly. That's just it. I think the same thing is going to happen with the Eternals. People are going to watch it now and go, "This is terrible."
Yeah, I saw a lot of people.
Marvel movie, no, but like, no, it's not bad like everybody said it was or whatever.
I saw a lot of people when it hit Disney Plus were like, "Why did everybody hate this movie?"
Yeah, that's the conversation that's happening with Days Gone, and I think it's going to happen as long as that game is readily accessible for like very little money or free.
Such a weird world, man. People take this shit way too seriously. Like, if you like it, cool. If you hate it, cool too. That's fine. I don't care. It's like, if it changes your opinion of how you feel about a piece of art because somebody else has an opinion on it, then I can't help you there. You know? Wombat likes Two Human and Two Worlds, you know?
I do.
I like Eternal Champions and Advent Rising, you know?
Oof.
Somebody telling me they're bad is not going to change the fact that I enjoy them.
I know, because I've been trying to tell you Advent Rising's bad for 15 years now.
It's installed on my Xbox right now.
You disgust me, Ken.
I'm proud.
It's gonna kill Halo, yeah? Did it?
Who said Advent Rising was going to kill Halo? I thought that was.
Oh, they put that as a Halo killer too.
That was not even the same game.
No, it clearly took some fucking stuff from Halo. It was like, yeah, let's do that.
What did it take from Halo?
The visuals are very clearly Halo inspired.
Dude, I didn't get that at all. I apologize that I don't see that at all. I see the same character model among like 40 characters, but I don't see the inspirations from Halo. That's fucking Haze, man. Haze was the Halo killer.
Haze was another one where...
Tribes, goodbye Halo.
Goodbye Halo. Hello bargain bin. That's what Tribes tagline should have been.
Yeah.
Oh boy. That's all the stuff I got. That's all I got. I don't have anything else. No food conversation. Congratulations.
We did it.
Always proud of that one. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at N4G Podcast. If you want to shoot us an email, it's podcast at ztgd.com. You can follow me at ZTGD, Anthony, Complacent Robot, and Ryan at Wombat RP. You can check out Phoenix Down. Drew and Matt are playing Inscription. Which,
Yeah, I joined them on that.
Oh, you're actually on the show too.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I didn't know who was. I don't think I put you in the notes.
Yeah, who gives a shit? It's a surprise for people that don't like me.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know.
I don't think he told me that you were on it, so I didn't put you in the notes. I'll have to fix that.
I don't know. Well, then, yeah. So I joined them. It's a rough first episode because I can't say anything till we get to the later sections because that's how that fucking game works.
Well, that game is no longer an indie darling because I saw it sold 1 million copies, so now it's officially
Yeah,
out.
I mean, it's a Devolver game, so, like, some of them do make over 1 million copies sold, yeah.
It's officially sold more than Returnal, I believe. So,
No. I mean,
Returnal
maybe,
only
I
did
guess,
like
yeah.
500K, dude.
Really?
I thought that was the story that
man.
came out about.
I mean, I'm not surprised, I guess, but I'm surprised because it's like the only thing that it launched with other than Dark Souls that was exclusive.
560,000 copies according to what I'm looking at.
And Housemarque can't get a fucking break, huh?
Nope. And Returnal was not a launch game, FYI.
It was not, no.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it
Okay, I
didn't come
guess
out
that's
till
not as-
February.
And Demon Souls is what you're thinking of, not Dark Souls.
Man,
It's different.
I know it is, actually. It is very different, but it's one of those things where it's like, man, I've been like stuck in my house with a cold. You're really asking me to fucking determine the differences between this? You could hold up both fucking covers and I just see the same thing at this point.
They so goddamn the same.
I can't play either of them because I suck. So there, that's the.
Yeah,
There's
I
no
remember.
difference to me.
I remember the Returnal numbers came out, and people were like, "Oh, that's not very good." And I'm like, "Well, it had a couple things going against it. It was $70, and it's a Housemarque game, which, I mean, they're kind of niche. You can't expect, regular Sony first-party numbers from a niche game that is also $70. You just can't. But Sony was apparently happy with the numbers, so that's all that matters, I guess. They bought them, so there is that.
They're a good studio.
Absolutely. I've
haven't
liked
put out
most of their
anything
games. Yeah.
And so they haven't put out anything that's terrible. It's just one of those like they just can't get a break because they clearly don't make stuff that has a wide enough of an appeal.
Yeah, I can't think of a game that they made that I was like, this sucks. I don't want to play it. And they've all been... I even liked Returnal, and I don't like roguelikes. So, I don't know. Apparently Returnal, sold 560,000 copies, and Days Gone doesn't get a sequel. Oh, shit. Anyway. Yeah, Inscription, 1 million copies. You guys, Phoenix Down, first episode's up. You want to check that out? Other than that, I don't have anything else. You guys, do you guys have anything? Anything else? Nope. All right, we'll get out of here. Peace, bitch.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G podcast. $0.
This is going to be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And Killer Wolverine. Play games, not consoles. No fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.